The passing show is just a little bit of who, what, when, and where. A little raw journalism. Little you know, primary documentation for historians of the future. And we're going to be up and out and walking and talking through a few minutes anyway. I had a big old latte and an almond croissant for my breakfast at my office hours at Teapot Coffee Collective. 7:30 to 9, I can be found there. And Rick did find me shortly before 9, and we ended up talking one on one. That's what I like to do. Have conversations with people. Substack writers, great, but non Substackers, okay. Rick is a non Substacker. He's from, lived for a while anyway, at Ardmore, Pennsylvania, not far from the Ardmore Music Hall. He's had a lot of interesting experiences. He was at Hyde Park for the Rolling Stones concert there in 1969, in which King Crimson opened. And he was up close to the stage. Just happened to be there. And I just love that about Rick. He lives in DC now, has worked in the past for Health and Human Services, I think, but got out of that, went on to other things, and is now in retirement. His balance isn't so great, so he's had some bad falls. I have to watch where our feet are, be in the moment. And that's what I try to bring you all, the moment as it appears in front of me. And I'm doing a little cameo there as I walk by. I'd like to trim down a bit, and I will if I continue to walk and talk. This is my day job, being a flaneur, doing raw journalism, talking away. Got 13 paid subscribers at this point, 569 subscribers total, as I understand it. Most of whom are free, but that's fine. I love amplifying signals through the noise. We can go bigger. I would appreciate any paid subscriptions, of course, but I appreciate, and in general, people commenting and sharing their perspectives. I should have waited. Yeah, well, sorry. Anyway, Keeper Federal defending our nation's digital borders, cyber attacks. It's interesting. I might look them up, find out more about them. We can definitely use sponsors. I don't know if I want that kind of organization sponsoring me, but why not? We're definitely advertising for them by putting their bus onto the passing show. We're at Teapot Circle Fountain. If you never come to DC, this is one of the nicer things here is you got Adirondack chairs. People can sit out, look around, take in the passing show, give a little bit of who, what, when, and where. Doesn't look like there's a lot of human suffering here right now on display, but there is sometimes. Got folks who are homeless. Like one of their shanties is over there on the bench. Maybe. Music. Birds giving themselves a dust bath. That's kind of nice. Looks like I got 21 seconds to get across. I'd be able to make it. I don't know where I'm heading just yet, but I'm going down Connecticut Avenue towards the southeast, south by southeast, I'd say. Yeah. 0 seconds. I should get a walk here. I have 57 seconds to get across. There we have another. Choices lead us to where we are. See what's going on at the anthem. Pixies. Pixies is over. Sarah Farrell and Nikki Lane. You know, saw Better Off Dead at the Atlantis. Nothing really catching my eye. I've got a few shows coming up, and particularly the Hamilton Live later this week. It is the days between August 4th, midway, August 5th will be. See, I guess I got tickets for the 7th, 8th, and 9th. The final one of the days between is Saturday night. It's a young lady playing at the Hamilton that I do not know. So I'm going to check her out, see what she's laying down. Apparently, she's pretty good on guitar. And I want to learn more about guitar because I have a few. And yeah, I don't play. Took a couple of lessons and I need to do my exercises. One of the things I think is just wonderful is that if I did them, I was consistent. I'd get the calluses built up on the fingers and not just be able to rip up and down the fretboard. I'm such a novice, but I did have the good services of Raina Mullen, who plays with the Happy Fits at this point. Is generally a good human being, I can tell. So Raina played in a band with Holly Bowling, who I've also supported. Holly plays piano, keyboards, and is a phenomenally talented musician, as most of them are. Also in that band that they were in together was Tom Hamilton Jr. Tom plays guitar with Joe Russell's Almost Dead, American Babies, Electron, quite a few different combinations there. We're just darn lucky. We're darn lucky to be here, to be anywhere. City Tap House across the way. This is Tate's Bakery. Folks there having their pastries and coffee. My guy, DuPont Coffee Collective. Not going to go to chains much because I want to support locals. And then there's our farmers market here on Sundays. I didn't get down there kind of maybe early enough to get part of it in, but I was so tired. I just stayed at the house after driving back from Latrobe, Pennsylvania yesterday. I was at my wife's 40th high school reunion, Wildcats. And it was really nice. I got to see some of her old friends and I loved that. Take some pictures of them enjoying their company. Me, I don't know, man. This is the National Communication Association, founded in 1914. Got quite a few businesses along here. This is the Middle East Institute. There's Maximal Miniatures, contemporary art from Iran. It's February 3rd to May 23rd, 2025. It's over. But it gives you an idea of some of the things that are happening around here. This is International Union UAW, Washington office. Across the way, some of the buildings, Our Design, National Design, Build, and Multi-Trade Contractor. Okay. Coming up on the Tabard Inn, where I tied the knot with Lynn May 3rd, 2008. That was nice. Beautiful wedding. Nice reception upstairs, I thought. I don't know how my guests felt about it, but I enjoyed having them. Family mainly. One of my best friends attended. That's the Tabard Inn. The Tabard fireplace is off. Across the way, the Iron Gate restaurant. This is Courtyard by Marriott. And what else are we going to see while we're out and about? I think we might head south on 17th. Is that what I'm coming up on? Should be. You will duck over to the shady side of the street while we do that. Hear a vehicle coming? No, not now. Just pulling out. Little bird. This is the Accrediting Council for Continuing Education Training. If you wondered where that was, there it is. And what else have we got? As I go through these things, I'm thinking in terms of places I might sell my services. Barbaricum. This place is for sale. Boutique offices. And now leasing. And what else we got around us? Dodson Associate, National Association of something. Of theater owners. The National Association of Theater Owners. That's nice. Networking. This is Chaikin, Sherman, Camarada, Siegel, PC, attorneys at law. American Hellenic Chamber of Commerce. Office of Tibet. Tibetan Community Development Fund, Incorporated. That's for lease. Commercial division. Beautiful recycling truck. I need to get the recycling out. Actually, we've got kind of overflow conditions happening. Pushed it down. My wife added more. There's the Human Rights Campaign. 2 sticks of butter. Equality symbol. Guess we can cross here. We're close to the Beacon Hotel where Lynn put up her friend Mary Metello Horner, who lived, and her husband and infant child. I think I'll stay on 17th Street. Take in the passing show around. 8 1. Getting a walk sign. Human Rights Campaign envisions a world where lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ plus people are ensured equality and embraced as full members of society at home, at work, and in every community. So there you go. That's what Human Rights Campaign is about. Certainly for inclusivity. Let's see who I got here. Steve Bradley's joined. R.V. Hughes has joined. Disarticulated Press, Ghost Machine, Archive, Dana von Allman, Birgit Solston, Anna and Vanessa. All right. That was 8 total on the passing show. Oh, man. I don't know what I've done. Oh, there we go. There we are. Got a cyber truck here. I don't know if you see a lot of these in your neighborhood, but there are a lot of them around here. I can tell you what, we got a lot of Teslas. That one's got Virginia plates. I saw one recently with like the license plate was DMSTR or something like that, or DMPSTR. Dumpster. Under no illusions. This is the Charles Sumner School Museum and Archives, where DC Public School history lives. 17th Street. You can continue. Yes. Got the walk sign. Got the sun to the east. So I continue walking. I'm still walking. So I know that I can dance. Opposite saint of circumstance. That's it. I guess last night was the third and final night of Dead and Company's stand in Golden Gate Park, celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Grateful Dead. If you're not into that, understandable. But if you are, you probably really are. National Geographic is going to have a new experience in 2026. Their staff and guests can enter, but pretty much closed up otherwise. National Geographic, Defenders of Wildlife over there. We keep walking. And I'm pretty well charged up at 98%. So this could be a long episode of the passing show. When I get back to the house, I've got a lot of work to do on the bunker. It's gotten rather clogged up with stuff. Archives of my father and me, primarily, which I'm always adding to it, and I'm not subtracting. I've got to subtract. Because for one thing, some of it's garbage, some of it's valuable, but just about all of it can be dematerialized into electrons. As much as I hate to do it, I have to admit that keeping the physical remains is not necessarily in my best interest. Organizing the electrons that can be generated by scanning and the materials is kind of important. But you know what it is? First things first. That simple principle. Of course, pacing myself, being a human being, I need to take care of the basics. As I soak up the information on flowing into the lens, it's worth debating whether we are making the best use of our time and energy. And the energy I'm using now to communicate with all of you is a type of currency. I like to give it away freely. And certainly it is available to anyone who happens to pick up my signal through the noise of cyberspace. I like to amplify other people's signals too. And that's one of the things that I've been on about lately is Hairwings Podcast has the net wide open. Anyone who wants to can hit me up to spend an hour or so talking about whatever's on your mind. What makes you click? How do you find life? What harrowing experiences have you had? If you don't want to go there, I can keep it light. You can keep it productive. A lot of times, harrowing experiences can drive creative activity. My friend Jessica Alpha saw him a week ago or so and talked up her app, an artificial intelligence powered pet app. I think she said it's called Petpedia, and it should be launching soon. And the harrowing experience that drove that is the fact your mother was a vet and so often would say, if they'd only gotten here sooner, they might have saved a pet that needed to be put down. And that's just heartbreaking, right? To know that if you'd gotten there sooner, And then if you had this app on your phone, you might be able to understand and diagnose the issue quicker, get your pet the care it needs when you might not be aware, and all kinds of different possibilities. And it's all good. I'm thinking, so I'm walking. Which way do I want to go? I'm hard up on Farragut Square. I think I'm going to go down past NT Bank, past the entrance to 1666 K Street. Leave. Yep, sure enough. In there somewhere is Jefferson Consulting, where my dear wife used to work as their HR director. She had worked there under Nan Rinsey, who hired her. Nan had been the Judge Advocate General for the Navy, 3-star Admiral, retired from that, became the Chief Operating Officer at Jefferson, which was then run by Julie. Yes. Don't remember Julie's last name, but Julie sold it, and the new owners put in a president who basically did not cotton to Lynn, made her life kind of miserable. That's sad when that happens, but it occurs, and then you have to find your way out. Well, this is interesting. I haven't seen this before. Blunt, D.C., now open. A dispensary and museum. I tell you, closed for construction. Well, that's about right. Here's some Cargo Coffee. Quargo, proudly serving the masa. That sounds good. Sounds real good. So 16th Street. Well, why don't we take a tour down by the White House? Why not? Catch a little of the passing show, what's happening right on the scene. Since we're doing raw journalism, this is one way to do it. Now, I do think I want to be in the shady side of the street, though, and I can be. I can be. I just have to watch my step. It's easy to trip. There's a St. Regis Hotel. Fancy looking. Vehicles. It's the Christian Science Reading Room. That's a nice piece of architecture. Glass. Science of Christianity. I don't know, man. Time, tide, and wait for no man. What we got now? We got Anna joined. Oh no, we've been joined for a while. Anna Johnson joined, or Ann Johnson, sorry. Steve Bradley, okay. So we've had 9 others besides me here. Would like to comment, ask questions. What is this all about? Well, it's just a little bit of who, what, when, and where here in Washington, D.C., documenting the lives of others. Lives of others. There was a good movie done in Germany about a Stasi agent and his watching some East German celebrity trying to get the goods on him, so to speak, surveilling his everything that he did, recording it all. It's better in a union, AFL-CIO. That's just the American Federation of Labor. Across the way, the Hayes Adams Hotel, St. John's Episcopal. Gotta keep moving. Um, Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. Folks, same place, taking in passing show St. John's Choristers. It looks like it's open to go through the park. I'm going to try to do that. Shade of the trees. Wait to cross is very physical. And I got the walk sign. I keep your eyes wide open because you never know, you might see. Well, got this news media set up over there. They're going to do a segment. Another one set up over here. Don't know who he's broadcasting for, but they're all set. I guess I can bend around. Somebody's being interviewed. Felt. Got the focus on. Always media out. Belch is world and German. So it could be Austrian or otherwise. War is not the answer. So says the tent of our protesters. There's always protesters. Something from South Korea there. I think we're going to get down here in the shade of the trees and walk down towards 15th Street. Keep moving. It's a gorgeous day. Just another in a series of gorgeous days. 3:00 today, I'm going to be going live on Harrowing's podcast. Susan E. Schriffler. And we'll talk a little bit about what's important to her, whatever signal she'd like to send out through the atmosphere of the cyberspace. And one conversation at a time, we can transform this world for the better. I'm convinced. That's my aim, anyway. I'm having conversations with all of y'all. I look back at the White House. Never know. I wish it was like the transition. So there's Lafayette. Came to America and led troops in Virginia for a good bit of his time, including our militia. And Rochambeau is over on the other corner. Baron von Steuben on another corner, and our Polish friend, whose name I don't know how to pronounce, I got to look that up as well, on the other corner. And then Jackson's in the middle of Lafayette Square, equestrian statue. The nation's most famous address. It's the East Wing of the White House back there, the First Lady's section. Melania Trump has her offices in there. I don't know what she's up to right now, but Everybody's here breathing. This way to CDC. Got Gallatin's statue there, Albert Gallatin, first Secretary of the Treasury, and the Treasury itself. Crossway opening summer 2025. It's the American Dream Experience. The Milken Center for Advancement of the American Dream, mcaad.org.
Well, I go to, yeah, I'm an old dad. I got a five.
A truth installed. Keep walking. Now deciding which way to go. Capital Express tour is the best way to see these states. And another. Some little vehicles over there. Can ride around in, but I'm not going to ride. I'm going to walk. I think maybe we'll make our way. Can't see. Don't think. Have to walk aside there. Let's keep on walking. Friendship between the United States and Canada was developed and strengthened by the signing of the Webster-Ashburton Treaty of August 9th, 1842 in the old State Department building which stood on this site. This treaty established the northeastern boundary between the two countries. That was placed in 1929, it looks like. Juanas? What else do I want to tell you all about while I've got your attention? If I have your attention? Should prove instead a protest for being large land? Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Approving of war is suspect. However, I would say war is not the answer. I wouldn't wish war on my worst enemy. We as a species need to grow up, learn to settle our disputes without violence, because violence begets violence. And while I will admit that the herd may need thinning, it'll thin itself. There are laws to things. There are boundaries against which we press to our peril. I've got the walk sign, so I'm walking. So you're all your brothers and sisters out here. I learned to live together. This is Side of the Roads Tavern. It's built in 1799 in the hope that the new capital would become a great city. It opened as a tavern and inn by William Rose in 1801. Its first town hall where White House architect James Hoban and other citizens met to petition Congress for representation in locally elected government in 1801. Polling place in the first city council election in 1802. Early boarding house used by members of Congress, 1807-14. Spared the torch during the British burning of Washington in 1814. First home of the Bank of the Metropolis in 1814 to 1836, and of Riggs Bank, 1840 to 45. Washington Stock Exchange, 1881 to 84. National Press Club, 1909 to 1914, visited by Theodore Roosevelt, William Howard Taft, and Woodrow Wilson. Was witness to every inaugural parade from Thomas Jefferson in 2005 until Ronald Reagan's in 1981. The ballot initiative to preserve the building approved by Washington citizens in 1983, but it was razed in 1984. Marker was placed by the Rhodes Tavern DC Heritage Society on June 7th, 1999, with help of pennies collected by DC public school students. How about that? How about that? We're coming up on the Hamilton, and here's where Lincoln's legacy lives at www.forge.org. That's Forge Theater, where Lincoln was shot, and he died across the street thereafter. Breathed his last, sadly. The Willard, that's the name I can't remember. One of the fancier hotels are on the back side of it. We're not far from the corner through bakery and my wife's offices. She is in the National Press Club building. She's just see over there with a browner stone. The days between August 1st and 9th, it's happening. I missed Stanley Jordan Plays the Dead. I was out of town. Steely Dead too. That would have been good. But I'll be there for the English Sound Project on the 7th. August 8th, Graham Lesh and Friends, and special guests at Jackie Green. And August 9th, 30 Years Upon My Head, a Rex Foundation benefit concert featuring Shakedown City and Bella Rain. Bella Rain was the one I was trying to remember, but I don't know. I am looking forward to that. So I'm downstairs. I could go up and surprise Len, just drop in on her. She may be in a meeting, though. It's probably time for meetings on Monday. I think I got it. Yep. I got it. Yeah. So I drop Lynn every day over here on 14th Street. She can't drive. Had a stroke and paralyzed on the left side of her body. But she's a trooper. She can do it, you know. She's the HR director at Theodore Roosevelt Conservation Partnership. She's held that position for some years now. Always gets great reviews. Sharper cookie is pretty hard to find in a lot of ways. And I'm so lucky. I think we all should be lucky and feel ourselves to be. I think that's part of the trick. If you think you're lucky, you are lucky. And onwards we go. You see the other entrance there at F Street, National Press Club building. I pick and land up there about 4 o'clock. Not necessarily at that entrance, but at some entrance. Devon Blakely, chain of bakery restaurants, sells salads, coffee, and stuff. Proper 21 is a restaurant, bar, and social club. Historic F Street, built 1912. It's Verizon store across the street. Roti here. Let's continue to walk. We could go down to the Smithsonian American History Museum, might. It's kind of a long episode. You know, I started at about 10 o'clock, didn't I? A little after. Rolling now. Feels good walking. Want to get my steps up. So, yeah, I'm not sure exactly how I'll go. Entirely. So I think at 23 seconds to cross. So what that says? 24. I do it. Said you never know, you might see. Let's go down on the other side. 12. McDonald's. 10:33 to get across. Watch out for the EMS supervisor here. And roll on down to see what's happening here. Extraordinary Heroes, 8 p.m. of 8/5, Beautiful Mind World Tour in D.C. Don't know what that's about. Across the way, there's the Henry. Here, Hogan Lovells, Columbia Square. Whole lot of businesses there. St. Germain. Across the way. It's like a hair place, maybe. Full calendar just by scanning the QR code. Office hours. Stars here: Frank Sinatra, 1992, Tony Bennett, 1994, Tyler Thorpe, Robert Wagner, B.B. King, Tom Jones, Chris Rock, George Carlin, Bob Newhart, Harvey Korman, Ian Anderson, Sting, Morgan Fairchild. I saw her here. It's Bob Weir and Rat Dog. Yep, Tedeschi Trucks Band, 2023. Just keep rolling. Don't see. Yeah, I got it. Recommend J. What time we got? Let's see, 10:58. So been rolling almost an hour on this episode of The Passing Show on Harrowings Live with Hal Gill, your host. And showing how we can come together with love. Yes, indeed. Proving war isn't the answer. Okay, I'll deal with that. Professional managed by Wilco. Yes, indeed. We all have to get in here and do our part. We all have a part in the world we have co-created. Every cent we spend is a vote for the kind of world we are co-creating. I'm actually right now not contributing a lot because I'm not earning a lot. But I'm doing the best I can. I moved the needle a little bit for a few folks today. And yeah, eventually I'll run out of savings. Then I'll be poor. And I might be dependent on the charity of strangers. Could happen. I don't know. But you know what? We'll all be in this together. And it will then my responsibility for my part in it all. We got 11 o'clock coming up here. You can see on what used to be Trump Hotel in 2016. It became that. And in 2020, it very quietly became a Waldorf Astoria. Not a lot of fanfare. I don't know, man. Elephant and Castle over here. We show Bites with Lance Pedigo there some years ago when we went to see Yes, celebrating the 50th anniversary of Close to the Edge. Must have been 2022, 2020. Yeah, probably. Been a while. Oh, life goes on. There's Franklin over there near what used to be the post office. That's the post office building, and became a hotel. But Franklin was the first postmaster for the United States, or the colonies. Anyway, I think this probably explains it all over there. Guess I could go over. That would be a nice idea. I'm on 12th Street or 11th, it's 11th, 12th. 12th in Pennsylvania. I think I can get across partway. Nothing coming. You see the U.S. Capitol down there at the end of Pennsylvania. The White House is on that end. The blocks from view by the Willard. Over Astoria. We're heading towards Franklin, his printer monument. No little plans. Part of the Federal Triangle. Presented to the National Capitol by Stilson Hutchings, philosopher, printer. Jay Juvenal is a sculptor. Can you see it? Patriot, philosopher, printer. What is a politician? What is he going to say on the side? Philanthropist. Do not climb. There were a lot of protests over the weekend, as I understand it. I saw some happening in Trader Joe's on 14th Street and U, between T and U on 14th Street Northwest. And Lynn and I stopped in to get a few things we needed. Main thing I needed was galettes from France, of which I ate 4 on the way home. And I went to bed. I try to get enough sleep. Environmental protection is over there, the EPA. Also got a flag flying for our missing in action and POWs. And an American flag at Federal Triangle Station. Ronald Reagan Conference Center is over there as well. Woodrow Wilson Institute. This is Waldorf Astoria, Washington, D.C. on the back side of it. Fairly pleasant day. Good for walking. I don't want to miss the opportunity to walk. Yep. We're on 12th Street. I think I'm past the American History Museum. That's fine. I don't need to go in there right now. Maybe we'll go natural history instead, or at least past it. Seem to be holding up pretty well considering. Got my supplements on board this morning. I'll walk off out at say maybe using the energy I have. Energy. Time is a form of energy. And that it's money. Beautiful dog. And there's the United States Environmental Protection Agency entrance right over there. 1201 Constitution Avenue. A friend of mine was instrumental in testifying to Congress regarding the need for the EPA back in the day. Had dinner with him at the church rural pub in Pittsburgh to celebrate in advance his 85th birthday. So it goes. We first became associated in 1999 on December 11th. I remember that clearly. And we stayed associated as I moved to Denmark in December 1st, 2000, or thereabout. I landed December 1st anyway. Yeah, flew out of Pittsburgh. And lo and behold, here we are now. And some plane going up at a national. So yeah, I guess we were only in each other's company regularly less than a year, but it made a fundamental impact on me. We probably spent maybe 50 Saturdays together playing Go, some of it, the old Chinese board game, talking Nietzsche. It's funny, I stayed in touch, right, pretty regularly up until 2016 or something. I didn't enjoy something that we did together. I always tried to make a point of being there. It is what it is. We are who we are. Fell out of touch 2016. 9 years later, reconnected, reconnoitered, and on it goes. There's a mess of flowers. So look at all those. They try to plant indigenous species in this area. It's pretty important environmentally. There's a catbird. It's Washoe Monument over there at the Smithsonian American History Museum. I'm up next to the Museum of Natural History. Small sassafras. Medicinal plants. Sweeping back over. Folks on the corner. Up to something. Gorgeous flowers.
Hey, bro. They asked me when I
What am I going to do now? I've walked this far. Smithsonian National Museum of Natural History, all about social networks. Cell phone unseen connections. That's an interesting exhibit. They may cut me down if I try to film inside the galleries. So instead, I think we're just going to walk. Keep on walking. I like to talk about the world and the think people in it. Just about everybody has suffered some form of trauma. But after we're 30, it's really on us to figure it out. To deal with our boo-boos, as my psychiatrist friend says. And it's not easy. Life will hurt you. I want to write that down. It's another thing he says. Well, we learn from it and we can help each other. It's like moving a couch, right? If I have you on one end and me on the other, we can get it done. We might not agree on which way to go, but eventually we'll either move or we'll stay where we are. That's something that was said in the musical 1776. I don't know if it was said by everyone, but I think it was said by John Hancock. Must either move together or we must stay where we are. This right here, banded iron ore, Precambrian, red jasper and black hematite, about 2,250,000,000 years old, from Eshpeming, Michigan, contributed by Cleveland Cliffs Iron Company. These alternating layers of red jasper and black hematite that are Precambrian are evidence of life 2 billion years ago. I don't know if you see it well, but yeah, you can. I just can't see it too well. Bright sunlight. So 2 billion years. 2.25 billion. That Gems and Minerals and Earth Information Center lights out. They're covering our night sky. Light pollution. There's a lot of good things inside there. You used to have a Triceratops out here I could play on when I was a little kid. This, glinting in the sun, it's been wood. Rockorioxylon arizonicum knowlton, Triassic period, as trees. About 200 million years old, found near the Petrified Forest National Park, Arizona. So that hematite down there, yes, they're separated by about 2 billion, 50 million years. Think about that. Think about the next 2 billion years, the next 100 million years, the next billion, the next 10,000 years. Our little civilization here has only been here about 10,000. Beginning to understand that. Just beginning to understand that whole place in the cosmos. These are plants to attract birds to the garden. Urban bird habitat. Some milkweed growing. There's some milkweed pods there. There's my Triceratops skull. Oh, there. There it is. Some yucca. Triceratops hereditas. Bronze cast of prototype. So that's a bronze. Roamed northwestern North America 70 to 65 million years ago when the climate was much warmer and wetter. Found on plants, including rail, as you see here. Cast was created from skull of our Triceratops hatcher using 3D modeling based on computer scans. A hatcher's inside, so I haven't been in that section in a while. Might come back through, who knows. What's great is I still have pretty good. Over 300 bird species have been identified in the District of Columbia. Some live here all around, some stay seasonally, and others pass through a migration.
It's starting.
Oops. Human beings. Yeah, well, I guess I gotta do this. This is a nature walk. Not gonna stop and read everything, but I do love it here. Pollination. Learn a lot just by watching. Neighbors. Butterfly bead. Garden Club of America 2000 Founders Fund Award. Delightful. Had a relatively big insect population crash overall, but there's some folks here that are still with us. Everything's interconnected, you know. Everything is hitched to everything else. We forget that. One of the things I'll stop by and say hello to is a being that has been here. It's a witness elm, they call it. It's not this tree that's closest to us, which looks like a beach from here. Put them on a little beyond. There's a catbird. I like catbirds. See another small bird. Look over there. What a set of stones ringing this tree. This is the witness elm. We'll read its history. There's the archives. On Constitution Avenue at 9th Street, Northwest. So this is the, oh, some large bird just floated in there. I don't know what it was. It was big. Anyway, the American elm that grew along with America. This American elm, Ulmus americana, is one of the oldest and most majestic trees on the Smithsonian grounds. It was planted around 1850, well before the opening of the National Museum of Natural History in 1910, and known as the Smithsonian Witness Elm, seen many momentous events pass between the White House and Capitol in its lifetime. Center Market vendors in 1909. In 1932, there's a view of the National Mall with the Natural History Building and Center Market at the top. Construction of the National Archives Building on the former site of the Center Market with Natural History Building in the background. And then Washington, D.C. Memorial Day Parade of 1942, one of the many parades, marches, and heads of state that have passed by the Smithsonian Witness Elm. And there it is. It's about 17.75 feet in circumference. Crown spread is about 116.5 feet. And the height was 80 feet, only 4.4 meters. American elms are native to eastern North America and were planted extensively throughout the United States in the 1700s and 1800s. From the earliest plans for the National Mall, elm trees were the unifying element. They linked the parks, avenues, and monument grounds. And around 1930, the devastating Dutch elm disease fungus was introduced to the U.S. and killed millions of elms throughout the country. Today, great elms like this tree in front of you still persist, either through natural resistance to the disease, proactive maintenance, and disease control programs, or a combination of both. And this American elm is well cared for by Smithsonian Gardens staff, and it is the first tree cataloged in the Smithsonian Gardens Tree Collection, a living museum of thousands of trees. So, there you have it. The elm's leaves are finely toothed. And 1850 was planted. So we're thinking about that coming up on its 200th birthday. And all of our history that's played out in front of it. I'm about to head over towards Capitol and the sculpture garden. Once this set of traffic passes us by, picking up the license plate information, a little bit of metadata, a little bit of who, what, when, and where. How are we doing on power? Let's see. You can't really read it. 73, so that's good. And we can cross. It's a tunnel under the mall. There, it takes you down to 395 South. There's one possible destination. Oh, looks like Sculpture Garden's open. We might as well go down by the fountain and meditate on that a while. Here's something that most people don't know what it is these days, but a typewriter eraser sculpture. Oversized, to be sure. Scale X, modeled in 1999. Place Oldenburg. Monument by Jean Mereux. Bronze. Personnage Gothique. So they closed up that they're doing construction. You can see the fountain over here. And I can walk around it the other direction. Over at the National Archives, there's an exhibit called Power and Light, Russell Lee's Coal Survey. It's worth considering that a lot of electric power is generated for powering our electric vehicles to cut down on gasoline consumption is actually generated by coal plants. And that sort of doesn't help the loading of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. It's what it is. There we go. The fountains, waters clashing there on their way down. Trajectories fall all kinds of angles. It's not too different than the trajectories of our lives. Our lifespans lengthen. Most of us make it downstream, but re-enter the sea of unknowing as our drop souls mesh with each other, launch alone into existence. We got a lot of background noise here from the construction these guys are doing. Preparing the steps to lead down. Maybe they're going to make a ramp. I don't know. It's smelly. Please do not wade in the fountain. Oh, where's the fun in that? I guess people can get hurt pretty easily in the fountain. There's a skating rink here during the winter months. You can watch people skate, learn to skate. I've never done it. Not here. I used to skate at Shenley Rink in Pittsburgh on occasion. They're friends. And primate behavior is what it is. Been thinking a lot, considering I didn't know what that was. Beautiful, beautiful rise and fall. It took me a long time. It does take me a long time to forgive sometimes. That's the right answer. I was thinking about life, the universe, and everything. So that brought up forgiveness as one of the best things you can do. Because if people knew better, they'd do better. And even if they don't do better, was I always doing better just because I knew better? Probably not. So we have that in common. I don't know who else is here, so I'm going to take a little break, sit by my rabbit, and this bench at one time was shared by my friend Shara. I have a good picture of her sitting on this bench, aping that pose of the rabbit. I love Shara. She's one of my best friends. She fights for what's right as she sees it. Rachel White's joined Western Refugee. Makes Sense joined Annie Hendricks. John Hinster, Carolee, Sandalore Sykes. No, it's not too hot. I mean, it could be hotter. So, yeah. It's a pretty nice day in D.C. A little breeze going. Sandalore Sykes had asked. Jennifer Esposito had joined. Sandalore Sykes had joined. Sam joined. Momo joined. Ann Johnson, I did see her comment showing how we can come together with love. Yeah, I hope so. I hope we can show that. We can come together with love. If you were to walk a mile in anybody else's shoes, you would be slow to judge them and you would have more understanding of why they are as they are. That's my stick. That's what my belief is. I've had 21 other people join here besides myself. I'm really grateful for all of you. Think about that. 21 of you. And then let's say you have as many connections out there. Let's say you're 20. And that would be 420. We get out another 20 for each of those. And that 420 becomes a lot more, like 8,400. And then go up another step. So we're out one step, two steps, three steps. Yeah, get out 4 or 5 steps, you're out the millions. And we can ripple effect through that. We just have to amplify each other's signal through the noise. So that's what I'm about. Heroines is trying to get people to sign up. Let me know when you might be available and we can get on Facebook Live, just like I'm on now. Talk it out. Think about how we can all take personal responsibility for our part in what we see out here. Art and literature and music, I think, are redeeming our society. But we also need people to do construction. We need people to do all kinds of things, right? Grow food. Think about how we can contribute to the greater good of everything. Now, not everybody can do that, but a lot of us have what's called money, and we have time. And time is money, and it's all energy, right? Money doesn't have any substance to it, really. It's just something we agree upon in terms of value. And by moving it from place to place, cutting off certain things, funding others, we can transform this world rapidly. I mean, one of the things can be very traumatic for a place like AT&T, for instance, or other companies that were the biggest companies in the world not too long ago. Now it's Apple. Now it's Facebook. Now it's, or Meta, the Facebooks, and Alphabet, and which is a parent company of Google, and so on and so forth, right? Amazon, think about that. All of the ventures that Musk has been up to with Tesla and SpaceX, da 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 da. All of these things, if you don't support it, it won't be. If you do support it, it will be. And it just goes on like that, right? Inform ourselves. It's not that hard to get smart quick. And now we have the augmentation of AI. So Anthropic is up on the move. NVIDIA is getting huge. Okay, so you got the idea. We are economic man. And as such, every penny we spend is a vote for the kind of world we are co-creating. I keep telling people that. I keep trying to act on that to the best of my ability. Left foot in front of right foot, we're getting there. It's taking time. It's not an overnight deal. But we together can do together what I cannot do separately. So that's what I'm on about lately. Look at this, fountains of water. I thought that was something over there. Over here, we've got huge sprinklers. Wetting down the National Mall. Tons of water being expended. Hundreds of gallons sitting out over the mall. At what cost? Well, your taxpayer dollars at work, I'll tell you what. That's just one thing. Of course, this is affecting the climate very locally, but everything is intertwined into itself. Well, those fountains shoot the water out over the mall. We can watch that. we can consider how our actions transform the world, because we are water as well, mostly configured, constantly flowing, pumping blood through, trying to stay healthy. Town and country movers, local and long distance. I'm going to loop around. I'm going to do a long loop or a short loop. I don't know yet. One thing I'm going to do is try to pass as close as I can to these fountains without getting wet, just to watch it flow. Look at that. Look at that drift. How much of it is just going off into the atmosphere? The sun's energy. Yep. So I'm going out onto the sidewalk. Oh, wow. It's coming right over here. Look at that. No doubt. I try to walk away from it. Probably turning them off. 5 degrees. It appears.
Hey, Laura.
Looks like they're going down. Some of the ones on the end have stopped already. Not seeing as many rainbows out of it as I would have liked. I think the refraction would be out there, but not so much. I'll pass closer. Not too close. I want to get water on the lens if I can avoid it. It's lovely. Isn't that just lovely? So in some ways, this is more art. Oh, some water. Dragonfly. Like a parrot dragonfly there. They mate as they fly. It's heading on down. Oh, that's great. Let's splash a little bit. Getting the water on my shoes, knowing that because I am, and it is, we are together. Are together. Occasionally we'll see an airplane come out of National Airport heading somewhere. I've got an app on my phone that tells me what flight it is and where it's going. That's always fun. That's watching a Spirit airliner go out of Latrobe to merge 737. Latrobe's airport's named after Arnold Palmer and has a restaurant called D'Annunzio's. Took my late mother-in-law there, at least once. I think we went there with relatives. Maybe? I don't recall. Tales. Yeah, probably Barb and Charlie came up with that. So we're terrible about keeping in contact. Look at these children. Think about the world they're going to see. It's going to be something. It's going to be something to behold. I like being just outdoors here, taking on the passing show. There's one of those jets going out of National. I'll tramp in the water a bit. Turned off the hoses that were on right here. Got sphere a little bit. The grass is growing. Needed in August, I tell you what. It gets dry in August generally. The season when our grasses die. This is hardly a good drenching storm, but it's better than nothing. Oh, squish. People from all over the world come here. See the art, see the culture, see what we preserved. See that you all can see what I'm seeing. National. The Capitol building. If I get okay. Should we head that way or this way? I think this way. Just head up the River Rock. Somebody is enjoying some of that wacky tobacco nearby. Pick it up on the air. Now, where it's coming from exactly, it's difficult to say. Strong. This little shove it. This chap down here. Nothing. It's the right place for it, I tell you what. Glad I don't have anything till 3 o'clock today. Then we go on with Susan E. Schaffler. I think I pronounced that right. Be interviewing her on Harrowing's podcast. Another in the series. They're out there for you if you want to see them. It's gorgeous. Fella taking in the Capitol. I'm just documenting. That's what I do. I document. Who was that? A shelter. Umbrella shelter. Ash, don't get out my bars east of Wing. I am paid the architect. Lee also did the World Trade Center. I think. Fact check me on that. I could be wrong. Lost a few trees in the middle of the area. Was too. It's in my American Alps. Like Miss Elm. That's no, though, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's an American Elm. That's two, actually. That's what it is. Walking. Keep walking. Two things. Okay, I've got it. Wasn't sure exactly what I was going to do. I can't get past this guy. It's rolling slow enough. I'm going to go along the reflecting pool in front of the U.S. Capitol. Some monuments, Ulysses S. Grant up there, another monument over there to James Garfield, who was sadly assassinated, dark horse candidate for president. A disgruntled office seeker put a bullet in him, and he lingered for a while, but finally passed away. There's Grant, top hat. There's some waterfowl, pigeons. We are headed to the National Arboretum. It's a big glass house over there. Why not? I'm mainly seeking a restroom at this point. Doing pretty well, though, as far as holding that and walking it out. Look at the water. Look at the color of the water. Turquoisey, bluish green, and all the varieties of color as they ripple. Pigeons flying.
Why we go down the street path?
It's the Department of Labor across there, sort of dull grayish brown building. Francis Perkins building. I used to work there. 2006-ish till 2007 when I transferred to the Department of Education with my company. I had produced the enterprise architecture submission for labor, and I did the same for education. In short order, did a pretty good job of it. Got it all together. Tried to institute some practices. I don't know if anything took. Enterprise architecture is poorly practiced in the federal government, in my experience. And I'm one of those practitioners who tried to improve things, but I don't know that I did that much good. I certainly made the effort, having learned about the practice and Customs and Border Protection during my stint there. It all comes full circle eventually. Hello, ducks. Ducklings. Good day. Hello. Huh. Hi. Yes, hello. I'm going in.
Another thing.
Oof.
Another thing I think is good.
Because I passed, these ducks have decided to maneuver, and there are now ripple effects from that. Simple stuff. Oh, teenage ducklings. How adorable. Yeah, hi. Sorry I don't have any food for you, but I'm sure you guys are well fed. Look at them all. Resting. Okay, I said we go into the Arboretum, so we will. I'm not going to leave you there. I'll wrap up the passing show. It's been a nice stretch. Nice stroll from DuPont Circle Metro, where we started out after dropping off my friend Rick Shapiro, former lawyer in Philadelphia. Good man, Rick is. Just really pleasing to me. Dragonfly. Oh, bird. Beautiful flowers. Look at that. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. There's one thing our taxpayer dollars do is support these places. And the flowers. Curtain court. Accessible route. Going into the tropics. Man, it is humid and hot in here. Nobody's business. Hope you're enjoying. Floor going up. Look at that. Look at that. Talk about humidity. Boopity boop boop boop. All real too. A desert. That's it. Wrap it up there. Thanks for joining. Hope everybody had a good time.